Welcome, one and all, to Myth Brigade. For this episode, this is episode 19, if you count the mid-season confessional sessions that we did. Episode 19 of this campaign in the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition by Cubicle 7. No plug. We do, in fact, though, if you want to buy that, we have affiliate links. We get no discount, but, you know, they'll know you bought it from us. You might get a sticker or something. I don't know. Anyway, we are here, and we are anxious, I think, probably to play some murder PCs. That's what this campaign is going to be retitled to. But first, as always, we gotta check in with our players. James, how are you doing, man?
Doing good. Looking forward to playing.
Are you looking forward to your death? Is that what you said?
That's not going to happen.
I know.
Confidence.
Yes. The last session, for those of you who didn't watch it, the last session where we rolled some dice, he got every roll was a critical roll. I was like, roll to scratch your ass. Critical success, scratching the ass. Best ass scratch ever. I hate you so much for that, but it worked out. It worked out for you guys. Eric, how are you doing, man? You hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there. Yep.
Last time Corbin had a bit of a pivotal moment, right? Like he's like the berserker of the party now.
That's it. Berserker halfling.
He's still short.
In the dream.
Yeah. In that dream. Getting upset. Don't want to fight me when I'm upset. Still short, but I'm a lot meaner. John, love the beard, dude. It's the
Thanks. It's coming in. This quarantine's paying off in one facet, I guess.
You're just gonna let it go? You're gonna be like Gandalf, John?
I'm thinking about it. I haven't shaved since quarantine, so I think I haven't gotten my hair cut since quarantine. So I think we're gonna just let this ride out and see.
You're gonna look like Tom Hanks.
Clients haven't even been too bad about it.
So, that's awesome. You're gonna look like Tom Hanks in The Castaway or whatever the movie was.
Basically, I'm gonna start doing some YouTube videos again, and I'm sure it's just gonna document my face essentially over the weeks to come. So.
That's awesome. We're glad to have you and your giant beard. That's fantastic. Rivers, how's Portland? How are you doing, man?
Oh, it's lovely, to say the very least. Everyone was out and about yet 3 days ago, you know, for some.
Why was that?
I don't know. They just happened to be out, you know. They were all avoiding each other, and then.
Oh, it was the International Cheese Fest. No, that was last week.
That's closed down. You know, the only places that are open. They don't.
The marijuana.
Might sell some stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was told by my dog's vet that I have to get my dog some weed because he has a hip problem. And I was like, all right.
Okay, we're getting a little boozy, you people.
So, yeah, I can't afford the weed for the dog. But the point is, we're glad to have you. We're glad you survived 420. Was it like the scene in The Walking Dead where Rick turns the corner, like the second episode or whatever, and there's just all these like people out and they're zombified? And
no, actually, it was it was just a lot more people out on the roads. Like it was actually kind of very pleasant just to go and like see people and then barely even be around them, just grab what I want and go. Like
yes, absolutely. Checking out the food trucks after a period of time, I'm sure.
Oh no, everything's closed, unfortunately.
Jim Powers, how are you doing, man? You're ventilating. I can see the breeze coming in from your windows.
Yeah, we're doing okay. You know, LA is turning out pretty fortunate in the whole thing. So we're hoping that we'll be reopened in a couple of weeks. You know, starting to reopen at least. Aside from that, just crazy busy with work. I have 2 new projects and trying to satisfy a couple of crazy stakeholders on each, and you know how that goes.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. Well, welcome, guys. I'm glad you're back. So it's been a really long time. For those of you who are just tuning in, thanks for coming. I wanted to give a quick shout out to we have some new cast members on the Myth Brigade group. Obviously, we've got the cult team. We've been casting for our Western Savage Worlds campaign, which is going to be like a steampunk Blazing Saddles meets I don't know, Aliens or something. It's gonna be really good. But anyway, Byron Manham.
West, dude. Yeah, remember that movie from 2003? Like I'm
Mechanical Spiders, come on.
Yeah, Mechanical Spiders and floating magnetic death wheels of doom.
Yes, that. Rivers is writing the whole campaign. I'm just gonna go with whatever he writes because
I mean, hey, I'll gladly write for that. That's my if I were to ever write a novel, it would be like a fantasy western. Like
That's your wheelhouse, huh?
yeah,
Bring it.
like,
Fancy Western.
snake people with like 6-shooters and like, oh man.
Okay,
The movie Ringo, like
Byron,
I saw it when I was young. God.
no spoilers, but watch for this snake people with 6 shooters. There will be no pus, I promise, though, in this campaign, because all the pus has gone into this campaign, this one, Tides of Nurgle. And also, Lenora, I wanted to so kind of welcome one of, we had a Nancy originally on the cult campaign, but I think she freaked out when she realized how real that game can get, and bailed. So her character's dead. Real bad, kind of dead. Never to return. But Lenora's going to join us. She's going to make a character. She's into steampunk westerns. She also runs D&D, which is pretty badass. So look for that probably July, I think, to full start. We're going to make characters the next couple weeks and do the whole setup and, kind of prequels. And then some of these guys. Maybe we'll do all of them. What if we did like 10 PCs? Is that manageable, guys?
That might be a cluster.
It'd be pretty funny, actually.
I've done
That's
6,
some,
and I was like,
that's some
"Ugh."
like 2nd edition, like AD&D, like we're all killing each other for the flame tongue type shit. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
You were there. I didn't remember you were there, but you were.
yeah.
Nice.
It might be hard to advance the story very much in a session
yeah.
with that many people.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
episode covers round 2 of combat.
Eric, if you have snake people and 6 shooters, who gives a fuck if the story moves forward? There's bullets flying everywhere.
Okay,
There's scary
this is
snake
true.
creatures.
Yes,
Hey, speaking of snake creatures.
but we want the combat to move forward at least.
All right, Eric, you get one advantage. That's fine. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, it's been
Of
good.
course.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so ready. But I kind of got to end the moment, right? Because we ended at a bit of an abrupt. Only moments ago, the last splattering blow was landed and the battlefield has gone quiet. The sounds of your companion's breath and your own pulse thrumming in your ears seem somehow deafening. An occasional wet, choking sound is all that remains of the gibbering throng of malignant puslings. They are not from this place. They don't belong in the old world. Their corpses hiss and dissolve in an acidic stew before your eyes. At risk of life and limb, you charged headlong to face them, some with... John, what did you have? What was it called again?
A shovel.
Some with shovels, and others with the fast, deadly blades you found along your journey. But what were they? What ruinous abominations spawned them, and why did they seem to take such pleasure in their own gore-soaked ends? One thing seems certain. The answer lies ahead. Then there's the matter of the woman, her legs chewed to grisly stumps and the flesh of her body riddled with savage bite marks from head to, stumps. She may once have been strong and radiant. Now she's a bloody, ragged vision, a remnant of someone who's waiting, begging for Moore's chilling touch. Her hair is caked to her face with a mixture of dried blood and earth. Tears of agony stream down her face, leaving streaks where her fair skin shows through. Her torn lip quivers as she regards you with a wide, terror-stricken stare. Looking, I think, at Geschwind, if I'm reading the map from a distance. Yep. Help me, she says, her lips separating as she tries to speak. Please. Reaching out to grab at you, not quite finding purchase on your tunic. Please. I beg of you. Give me a perception roll, Geschwind. That's how we're going to do. We're just going to get right into the perception rolls. Okay. Well, you hear what she says, is my point. Wait, what? Oh. Why didn't that come through in the chat log? I saw it. Did you roll, or was that Grimwald doing some weird shit?
The only roll I see in the log is mine from earlier.
Oh, wait, there it comes.
There it goes.
Okay. Okay, so I was right, though. Okay, so you hear what she says. She's looking you in the eyes with these just begging, pleading gaze. Her eyes bloody at the corners and just completely riddled with despair. What do you do?
I guess it would be an intuition to determine what she means. Do I think she means like to kill her, or does she think there's like hope left from her? Does that make?
You can make that roll if you want. If you want to try to sort out what she means.
The roll's out of the way.
You're kicking it off.
Get him out of the way now.
Yeah, that's good.
Can anybody else attempt the roll of the perception? Like
no, I'm going to say not to try to interpret her meaning. You guys are welcome to make perception rolls, and I'll kind of. Although, hang on. So let's just remember this is seconds after the combat, literally. So you are where you were on the map. So Grimwald.
Well, I think,
No, yeah, I was just saying Grimwald and Geschwinder right there, and Oswald and Corbin are back in the back, and Bartleby's nearby. You guys are welcome to move around if you want.
Well, I think Oswald, like especially the seconds after the last thing has been slain, like Oswald's moving back to where the fungus was. It's like slowly encroaching on our little like vases.
Okay.
That we need to carry with us.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and so Oswald, like, just thinking on his feet, like, hey, I gotta go grab those, and, like, maybe it's just he's reaching it, it's like the fungus is, like, starting to wrap on the edge of the bag, and, like, or something like that. Like, I'm just trying to grab him off the ground. And, like,
exactly
like,
that. Yes.
Like, I've thrown my axe onto the ground that I would have used to just, like, have fun just a second ago, and, like, it's on the ground in front of me, but I'm using, like, maybe I even put, like, the loop over one end and, like, grab the other one just to carry it a little bit so I can give it to someone. But that's his first and initial reaction is just grab the stuff. And
very smart. So you grab, you kind of are away from this dialogue in that case for a moment. So Grimwald, what are you doing? So you witnessed this, obviously.
Was she bound to something?
She is. So the thing that you notice, just looking for that fact alone, is that she's bound by way of roots protruding from her arms, kind of bursting forth from her wrists and wrapping around the rock behind her. So she's essentially bound herself to the rock by way of whatever it is that inhabits her body. She strains against them, though, and you can see where it's torn her wrists about that far up when she's just the sheer force of her trying to strain against it. Her legs, you also notice, seem to have been just eaten away little by little. In fact, you see a foot kind of cast aside, like maybe it wasn't particularly delicious, and they just and ate away at the muscle. Geschwin, what are you doing?
Knowing that she's restrained, but also trying to process that she's restrained by herself, but I'm kind of worried, like, I don't want to chop them because maybe that's part of her now, or it can feel it or something like that. I think it would be my initial thought. So I'm going to try to, like, unwrap them while trying to be delicate towards her, even though I know kind of internally that, like, she's probably not long for this world, but I'm going to try to at least make her not miserable for the end of it. And side note, I got a report that we might be a little quiet.
Uh-oh. Well, what the hell? Can you guys actually... So I'm guessing...
if you can let us know.
Yeah, chat, let us know. I think my audio is probably deafeningly loud, but maybe you guys could all come up a little bit.
Yeah, if it's us, just, I guess, let us know.
Blackhand Oracle, my friend.
So I'm going to... Yeah, just see if I can kind of pry them around the rock and just kind of like untether it, if you will.
So easy enough to do. As you kind of look, these things are spidering out, and kind of as you watch, they're these little tendrils growing out and kind of latching onto the rock, but you can pull it loose. It does seem a little low. Okay. You peel her loose, and literally she topples forward. She had been sort of balanced on these stumps, and the pain of that had to have been just complete sheer agony. She topples forward and actually hits her head kind of on her own severed foot.
Not gonna let her fall to the ground.
Yeah,
I'm standing right there.
You catch her. You catch her. You catch her by... So describe it. What does that look like? So you're thinking about this stump, and her arms are backwards, and she's just falling forward. What do you grab her by?
Well, I was watching Geshwin, and she just like falls into me there.
So you just sort of grab her by the shoulders.
Yeah.
She opens her mouth. She's face to face with you, as many women have been, but not like this. She's literally just an inch away from your face, and her eyes just wide, locked on yours, and she says, "It was..." She's choking. You lean back and you look, and the roots, they're inside, and they're coming out of her throat toward you. She says, "It was a lie. He lied." And then right there in front of you, a very large root starts to emerge from inside of her, widening her throat as she begins to choke to death. What do you do?
Just shove her away and back up.
You never mind. Fall down, lady. You push her down to the ground. So Corbin and Bartleby, what are you doing? So you're near enough that you can sort of hear what's going on. What do you do with all this? Oswald's off grabbing some kind of important stuff. What do you do?
So Bartleby's a little distracted. He just took that bad spill, and he's this is the first chance he's had to check on his ankle, make sure that he didn't break his leg. So he's kind of focused on that right now.
Okay, so he's checking out his leg and kind of, you hear what's going on, but you're not entirely certain what's happening. Corbin, what about you?
Not really sure what to do. Staring at it in rapt fascination and disgust, sort of like a train wreck. How do you stop that?
It's just gross at this point. Got it. So
it's horrifying.
You watch. Give me a cool test, please, Grimwald. You watch as she coughs and chokes.
How hard is it?
It's 0. Challenging, but you critical succeed everything you see. That's how it goes. Yeah, it's fine. You're like Joe Cool, like the camel guy. You're just, whatever. I don't even care. No, so she's choking out, and you watch as literally from an unseen place inside of her, this root comes in and just sort of digs its way into the ground and pulls her closer with it. Like it's trying to create some ungodly, rotten tree or something. What's up, Cosmicosis? How you doing? Anybody have a tree saw? Oh my God, the chat's lit tonight. It's good. She dies, but as she's there in the process dying, you hear something that give me a perception check, and this is going to be hard. So -10, please. Let's see if you can make out the last thing she says. Of course you can, because you always do. Damn you. Good roller. She says, "The seal." And then bad sounds happen and she dies. The champ. Grimwald, what do you do? This is horrific. This woman, the things you notice there being close to her. It's obvious that she's not a peasant. She has under her left arm a dagger that's in a nice leather sheath. It's kind of over her shoulder. She has a belt at her waist with a pouch that may have a purse attached to it, or may have a coins in it rather. She may once, based on the refuse around you, she may once have had fine, decent traveling clothes and proper leather boots as well, like riding boots that were chewed through by these pusslings. What do you do?
Just kind of stunned right now. That was pretty awful.
Geshwin, what do you do? You're there. The two of you are right there next to each other, like brethren, like looking at this scene.
Yeah, I kind of looked at Grimwald and did I hear her say the seal or no?
I'm going to say it was Grimwald was holding her.
Okay.
And the very little noise was escaping from her.
Gotcha. And I was just like, what was that? She said, "Help me," and it was a lie. He lied, and then what the hell was that?
The last thing she mentioned was the seal. I have no idea.
I kind of think maybe she has something on her. Does she? And I kind of like go to reach for her. I guess
What's
the purse.
the status of the plant?
That's a good point too. I wouldn't be thinking about that. I'd be like, okay, where's the seal at? So I'm gonna cautiously reach forward, but not really thinking, oh, this thing could still attack me.
What are you reaching for?
Her belt, if she has like a purse on there. So.
She does. So she has a belt. It's a typical sort of just a single brass kind of circlet and tie off kind of belt. Nothing fancy. Not like a WWE kind of belt buckle or anything fancy. She does in fact have a purse. And as you're kind of pulling at her wardrobe, you're noticing that under her garments are these just, when you sort of pull like tree roots up and there's like very hair-like roots, little tendrils, they're everywhere. And as you reach, they react to your presence and start kind of wrapping around your fingers.
Well, I'm going to pull my hand away pretty quick on that one. I'm going to take my trusty shovel and try to get the purse like kind of lodge under the belt and just try to torque it up.
Before I forget, Oswald, remember the rule that we decided was that whoever won the sort of sweet quote of the session got to give someone a free success roll. You never gave it away last session. Who gets it this time?
Oh god.
Shovel time.
It's so totally God. I think Bartleby.
Bartleby?
No, I had it 2 times before. Let's give it to Corbin.
He's like, I've got
for his berserker attack.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah,
that's a good point.
All right, Corbin. So
and it's a reverse.
Keep in mind, it's a reverse. Yeah, you get to reverse. And since the chat's live tonight, that's good. We're going to let you decide or help us decide. Whoever has a fantastic, hilarious, or meaningful quote or role play bit gets a free reverse the next session. Corbin gets the final decision on who that goes to after this. Anyway, so flashing back, you take the shovel and you try to pry loose the purse. Rivers, can you bring your audio up a little bit? I can't turn you up by yourself.
Yeah.
There you go. So you work at it, and there's this sort of corpse, and the corpse kind of rolls around, and after a few stabs at the purse, the corpse stops rolling as readily. And you notice that the vines are starting to constrict to the point where the body is crumpling down against the ground. You eventually do work the purse loose. It's a typical sort of one flap kind of seal. There's a little leather thong that wraps around a loop to close it. You've ruined it though. It won't work on a belt anymore. And there are 12 brass pennies. And 2 shillings, which Grimwald, you're like, oh man, I could retire. There, she has money. It's fantastic.
Okay, so no decorative coins or like Geshwin's thinking like a seal, something like that, maybe a parchment or something like that.
Yeah, so you sort through them and you're looking and you're like, okay, this is great. We have money now. Like in case we need to go back to Feldwig and have a meal or something. No, there's nothing that you would think would be a seal.
Okay.
You could afford to feed all of you now, though. At the Feldwig Arms.
That's nice. Should be pretty cheap there.
So Bartleby, your ankle's okay. The strain was sort of superficial, but it was one that was almost paralyzing at the moment. But now that you've taken some time to kind of nurse it, flex it a bit, you're feeling okay. You realize this right about the time that Geshwin is literally standing on a shovel, like stomping on it, trying to get this purse loose from this corpse without touching the roots. And of course, Oswald, you return with your bag of pottery parts.
Yeah, so I have the one bag in one hand that's like all broken and all the other stuff, and then like I have the other one and I hand it off to I think it was Bartleby that had it.
Yep, Bartleby will get up and meet you halfway to take it.
Glad to see that you're doing well, Bartleby. I thought you were gone.
That makes 2 of us. We need
I
to get
suggest
going.
we get
though.
a move.
Yeah.
I suggest we do make quick of the situation, and like Oswald points back to him, where like maybe we see like the moss or this fungus like grow over a stump and like chase after us, quote unquote, in like rapid succession. And Oswald says something like, "We need to go."
The shadow distance, right? So as you look in the distance, it's all dark. And the dome now has collected so much debris and snow and God only knows what in the time of day where it's almost perpetually night. So yeah, you do need to go. Where do you go?
Before we go, this stone that she was kind of tethered to, is there any markings or anything like that on there?
So you look fairly closely at the stone, and though its shape is fairly distinct, almost like a standing stone, right? No, nothing.
Okay.
You look for some runes or like a way marker, even ranger's mark or something, but no. You hear this sort of crumpling, crunching sound though as you're looking, Geshwind, and the roots continue to squeeze and press the corpse into the ground. That's just what
I'll
happens.
hang around to watch that happen.
Yeah, I just kind of shake my head as
Get back to the road.
another fatality of this curse or whatever we're stuck in. And it's time to think for our own lives, though.
Also, I want to get Stephen King to come watch one of these sessions once and just see this live. So you make your way away from the scene. The path ahead is already beginning to close in, so it's not like the rot is behind you. It's everywhere. It's to the point where enough time has passed that it's starting to sprout up from moisture and whatnot that's just kind of around. So you're walking on these hair-like mushrooms. Nurgle's garden, perhaps, although certainly none of you have heard the name Nurgle used in a real-world context. You find a crossroads ahead. It's narrow. The road continues off to the right. And there's an old rickety sign, which in lower Gothic speaks of barrows, burial grounds.
Yeah, I think
one
all
of
of you
can.
pass by it, and if you can't read it, and Oswald just like looks at it and just says the word barrows, and maybe it's like the camera shot from behind Oswald, and like you get the like he's speaking old Gothic, and like he says it, mouths it, and like you don't see it from the back, but it's definitely one of those things where everybody else is walking ahead, and Oswald reads it, and it says barrows, and it's like chapter barrows.
That.
Giant impact text.
Yes.
Yeah, big impact text. It's got the little black borders.
The THX. Doom.
Yeah.
So, where do you go? Do you follow the road off to the right?
Yeah, so
off to
I
the
think,
left toward the barrows? What do you do?
I'd probably be walking to the sign, maybe a little past, and then turning around of like, I can't read. I'm saying it, but like, just like, okay, somebody gonna tell me,
Yeah.
where are we going?
Yeah, it's especially since it's low Gothic. That's the old stuff. Oswald will, kind of say that, and it's the barrows, and he kind of points in the direction it's telling us to go for the old sign. And he doesn't make mention of the other path, but he says there are two ways. We could go check out this other path, or we could get on with it.
So you,
If
from in the tree kind of nearby, you hear this really obnoxious crow doing the whole crow thing. You kind of glance up, and it flies over, startled by you're kind of noticing it. And Bartleby, as you're there, because you're always observing, it flies over, and a teaspoon or so of maggots land on you from it as it flies past, pelting you like rice.
Okay.
Right, good luck.
Yeah, Bartleby's going to immediately start to brush those off.
No snacks. What do you do?
No.
What do you guys do? So you got a couple directions you could go.
Wait, is the direct
so
way.
I think this is where we look. Oswald looks at all of us. Do we look harmed in any way more so than what we already were, or did anybody take damage? In short,
I'm gonna let you guys answer that because I honestly don't remember. I think that Grimwald's dice roller finger was torn off. Actually,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think any of you were overly damaged yet.
Yeah, we're all fine, I think.
Yeah, I took a couple wounds, but that's it.
Yeah, it took a little bit, but not bad.
Well, I think Oswald does hand you on and says, "This is it. Do we go to the burrows now, or do you need rest? Suppose that woman had to come from somewhere."
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as rest would probably be good right now, I'm not sure that we can afford that luxury of time.
Yeah, we should keep going.
It would be folly to, but I thought I would offer it up. But
I'd rather
hear
not
anything
wake
from
up
that
under
woman?
the mushrooms.
While we're walking, I'm gonna cautiously ask how Oswald is doing, since I feel like you haven't been long for this world, but for a long time now.
Yeah, for those of you who are joining for the first time, by the way, Oswald made a pact with some supernatural entities, and every now and again he's got some symptoms that appear from that pact. And last session, maybe session before, he had an outbreak, if you will. Took the Valtrex and everything was better.
Heroic sacrifice. You're still walking and alive.
Yeah, so do you broach this to Oswald at all?
I'm more of just asking how you're doing, because I'm hopefully not too obvious to everyone else, but I had that nightmare and I've kind of played that off and not shared that really with anybody that starkly. But I'm a little more conscious of your maybe mental state, because I'm still kind of traumatized from my nightmare of seeing you strangling me, bashing my head into a mirror.
Yeah, I think Oswald just if you when he does broach it to him, Oswald just looks at him and is like, he doesn't say anything, and he's just like, "I'm fine."
We'll walk
and
slightly further away from you.
Yeah, he just he answers you, but it's after a cold moment of silence, and he's like, "I'm fine."
So,
we should be moving.
Oswald, as you walk past Geshwin, messenger knows. Watchful of him, you hear. And you kind of look, and Bartleby's there. Because he is, all the time. Arms crossed, probably.
No, he's got the bag over his
He's
shoulder.
got the bag. One arm crossed, probably.
Yeah, so Oswald, maybe he's walking and just a little bit of the group, and I turn to look back, and I don't see anything, and I just hear it, and Oswald just shakes his head.
Geshwin, give me a perception roll, and this is going to be easy for you. So plus, what is that? Plus 20, right? Some shit like that. Wait, yeah. Sorry.
Easy as 40.
Yeah, average. Yeah, let's go average. Plus 20. We don't want plus 40. Bleep. Damn it. Okay. You absolutely notice the confusion that occurs. It's up to you how you react to it, but you notice it. For sure.
It was almost like I heard somebody behind me, and I was expecting to look and see someone, and just didn't.
Yep. I'm not going to overly say anything. I'm just going to be a little more cautious now. I'm going to let you walk ahead of me. And I'm going to just kind of casually oh yeah, I just need to,
It's good talk, bro.
Go off to this tree real quick. Let loose just so I'm kind of at the end, and then I'm going to follow in behind and just one hand on that shovel.
Shovel. He's the shoveler. What's
Shovel Knight.
What's Corbin doing with his time as he's walking along?
Well, he's pretty oblivious to what's going on between them, and he's just trudging along, looking forward to the end of this.
Oh, isn't he? So which direction? We didn't decide, I don't think. Which direction do you go on the crossroads? Toward the old sort of weathered sign pointing toward the barrows, probably a burial place. You would obviously know what that is, or the road that seems to just kind of go wherever the road is supposed to go.
I think our straight intention was to just go to the barrow. Like, I think that's what we've kind of, like, we're gonna go there. Like, this might be, for all we know, a road that goes out of Geschwin and into the Reichwald at large.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Destination the whole time.
Yeah, you're in the southern reaches of the Hager Cribs already. And any hill, as you look around, is probably a grave of some age. Oswald, give me, as you walk for about another, call it 20 minutes, and the terrain starts to get a little more broken. The trail is clearly not well traveled. Footfalls maybe here and there, but not enough to compete with the undergrowth and the fungus and shit that's a result of whatever's going on here. But give me an engineering roll, please. Challenging, so no modifier.
Wouldn't this be better served with like what am I doing with engineering?
I'll tell you in a minute. I'm not going to tell you if you fail.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you fail, then what you're doing is...
I understand. I was just like, I'm pretty sure there's a better way I can broach the subject if it's like non-engineering. Right?
If you were trying to do it, I'd let you do whatever you want, but I'm asking, this is passive.
Gotcha. All right, give me 1 second.
It's also based on something you said like 10 sessions ago that you were doing. Awesome.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. I pay attention sometimes. Once every third session, I tune in.
Is there another door?
Yeah. There's
door in the forest.
And it's coming up. It's just giving me a prompt now. Sorry.
Hello, Roll20. I think literally everyone in quarantine is on Roll20 right now.
Yeah,
he does. Cosmicosis has got that. Okay, so listen. Narrative aside, Oswald, so long ago you made a point that you would watch the curvature of the dome. And at first that was very hard because it's transparent, but now there's debris. And there's a way to sort out from here even at this hour. You're literally very close to the middle of the dome. This gives you a sense of dread like no other.
Like, so maybe like because it's above me and I don't really or Oswald wouldn't have like a perception that he could really kind of like his field of view and his depth perception are going to be askew because it's below the object. So he's like maybe like there's a path and people are walking up the path to all these crypts in the distance, and he's like moving to the side. He's like climbed up a rock. He's like looking up at the ceiling, like stuff that like just somebody in the busy background would be doing. Like he's like ducked down, looking at it from different angles, and he's like, "We're almost here."
So Oswald stops.
He like turns around. And he's like, "It should be that one," and like I just point to where like the most I would see. Obviously, I have true north, or rather, I can always know where north is.
Right.
But in this sense, could I like try and use that to find and locate that curvature or the center, really, in any way, shape, or form?
So it's hard to be that specific out in the middle of the wilderness, right? But you sense it. You glance up and compared to the rest of the curve, right? You probably couldn't pinpoint the spot. What helps you though is as you say, I think it's this way, and you look, there are hills, and probably some of them are, it's not like the Hager Cribs are like little like bump of of crypts, but there's sort of rolling hills, and they're forested, and there's rocks and things, and there's low walls that were built probably hundreds of years ago by societies that don't even exist. But when you say, I think it's this way, you point, and on the horizon there's this little black thing, and when you look at it, Oswald, it hurts your eyes. It's like looking at a magnifying glass the wrong way. It's like looking at glasses that aren't made for you.
Oh man. Oswald immediately just goes like over his head. He's like holding his face, like, and he looks at it. He's like, "It is most definitely there."
What do you guys do? So you see this, Oswald. His behavior is normally not this erratic. What do you guys do? What's going on there?
A little weird and normal.
Is that what you say?
Yeah, I'm watching this whole time and growing more concerned. I'm a little actually more reassured when he points and I think finally understand maybe what he's been trying to do is he's been going up trees and on rocks and looking around.
Yeah, like he's parroting around, like he's trying to, like.
Yeah, the whole time I'm keeping one eye out on him, just like what is going on over here? But then I think come to the realization of what you're trying to do. But then when you start having that reaction, I'm just like, I'm still not saying anything, but I'm not terrified, but very cautious at this point now.
Corbin, Bartleby, quiet people. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
Are you all right, Oswald?
I'll come back to you.
He's covering his eyes like he's in pain, right?
He's moved around. He's kind of looking, and it's like he's trying to sort something out of his head, and he absolutely is. It's like a temple thing. He's not like like rolling around the ground. It's like what happens when you try on glasses that suck. You're like,
or it's like a bright light too soon. Like you get that, like, oh God, really?
How do you answer that, Oswald? So he asks you a question. Little Corbin kind of scrambles up next to you and says, "Are you okay?" Or whatever you said.
So I think Oswald, he grits his teeth, and he kind of you can see his hands and his veins maybe kind of get taut, and he just clenches his fist and he says, "I'm okay. We shall refrain talking about my person going forward. Please, we need to go." And Oswald stumbles on with a sort of not renewed vigor, but almost I'm going to see this through. It's the only thing I got left. I'm doing it.
Well, Corbin, how do you respond to that? So he blows you off. You're his buddy, man. You guys have had lots of drinks together in the city. How do you respond to that? You let him walk
definitely
away
not
from
Oswald. He's not very much like himself. He's completely different in a. He doesn't want to do anything, but he's single-minded in the task. He's just different.
Corbin?
Well, it's definitely not like him to be like that, but I don't know what I can do either.
Bartleby, what? So you kind of walked up right as this exchange began. You see this Corbin's kind of defeated. What do you do? You throw him into the vines? I had to get that in there, man.
The fungus bush.
Yeah. No, but you walk up and you see this. They part ways, and Corbin seems disconnected. What? How do you handle that?
I think Bartleby will walk up. So Oswald's walking away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm walking towards the direction I said, even though maybe I've even got a hand over my head, and I'm just since people keep asking me how I am, Oswald's getting more and more annoyed about it. He's screw this, we've got somewhere to be. And he trudges in front of the group. He's got the axe on his shoulder, he's carrying the bag in one hand.
So you've taken 2 steps. Hang on 1 second. You've taken 2 steps. We're right in it, right? So you're holding your temples. Bartleby, you step up. So he's kind of stepping away, right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Bartleby's going to wait until Oswald is a little bit out of earshot and just ask Corbin what's going on with him.
I don't know. Something's wrong with him, but he doesn't want to talk about it.
I kind of walk up and kind of play I know I'm the more cautious one. I'm not up for trying things, but we need to be careful of him. He's not in his right mind. I think we need to follow him, but we need to be careful of him.
Grandma, where would you be? Because you're always everywhere. Where are you right now?
I was watching Oswald move around and scope things out, and then looked where he pointed and kind of took a few steps in that direction.
So you're probably closer to Oswald than everybody else, right? Yeah. So they're having this conversation, the 3 of them. Okay. So you guys look, and Oswald, and the pain doesn't persist, by the way. It was just a moment of literally when you put on the glasses, you're like, oh, that sucks. You take them off, and the pain goes away. So it's not something that's going to follow you, Oswald, for any more time, unless you stare at that spot. But that would suck. So don't do that. So GM's advice. Oswald and Grimwald are walking kind of side by side. The Walds are walking close to each other. The 3 of you guys. So
we're in the Wald.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Gashwan, I interrupted you, but you had said, hey, we got to watch out for him. How do you guys react to that?
Well, for now, we need to keep going. I start trudging after them.
There's no way out of this that isn't together. So I don't think we have a choice.
That's the first awesome one-liner, by the way. There's no way out of this. It wasn't together. Thank you, Jim.
That's good.
There it is.
I don't even have a response. It's kind of nod begrudgingly.
That's how you do with Bartleby. You just fucking listen to him. So you carry on. So Oswald, as you're moving, you sense a presence, and your head is starting to clear. Grimwald's there, walking with you. He's a kid. Something about that innocence is just unfortunate, like the years that he's lost in this situation. As you guys are walking, though, Grimwald, it becomes clear to you is there are hills, and again, it's not like tomb like in a video game. It's like rolling hills, and it's unclear what they're for or what's beneath them. But the one that you seem to be drawn to, and Oswald keeps looking up and looking down, looking up and looking down, like he's sorted it out, and you see there's a monument, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before, Grimwald. It's like really want to go there. Really like that monument.
I pointed out, is that the one we're heading towards?
Yeah, I think Oswald tries to maybe it's like if you've ever tried to stop bright light from getting to your eyes, he kind of peers through his hand, looking, just peering through the breeches of his hands just to get a visual on the dot.
So he's pointing at the place. He has a different perspective of it than you do, but yeah, that's where you guys are headed, and you kind of make your way generally there, and then very soon the landform starts to kind of dip. Trees return to the point where you no longer have sight of it, but you have a general idea of where you're going. And at some point, just thanks to various terrain changes and whatnot, you wind up together again. Perhaps some of you are catching up, some of you are waiting, but whatever, you're kind of gathered.
What's
Oswald,
the fungus like as we get closer?
I'm sorry?
What's the fungus like as we get closer?
The same. The big thing that you notice is you push your foot into the ground, Grimwald, and it's just wet. It's like the ground after a slip and slide birthday party. It's like this. Everybody's like, ugh. It's like that. If you push down, this milky liquid comes up.
Pretend it's not there.
And it smells bad.
But it's not pus.
Yeah, it is in this campaign. Remember, not in the next one.
Oh, okay.
No pus.
Gotcha.
Tides of pus.
Everything's pus.
Your pus. I don't know. So actually, from the chat, Grimwald, do it. Is it tasty?
Is it tasty? Okay.
It might be. You never know. So,
Are there any maggots that I can identify?
do you look around for some?
No.
Okay. There's probably there's at least one maggot. You find it. It's your friend. No, so you've gathered essentially. Did you just make a perception roll to find maggots? Success.
Maggot identification. I have a special skill.
He's got a special skill because of that,
I did forget
That's
about
trauma.
that. Yeah. I was probably joking when I told you had that, but that's awesome that you wrote that down. So you've gathered. Essentially, there's this sort of gentle rise and quite a lot of underbrush, such that it obscures this thing that Grimwald and Oswald have been leading you toward. Oswald, you've turned around to sort of say, look, it's kind of right there, and you hear this distant clunk, like really rusted, horrible, old metal cowbell sound. Reminds you for a moment of the farm. But
yeah, he has
older.
A moment where he didn't experience the bullfight, but somebody standing next to him did, and he looks over at him does he hear it too?
You all very much just clunk. It draws your attention, and you're trying to triangulate even where it's coming from. It's almost on the wind.
Well, I think Oswald has got his axe choked up in one hand, and he's looking around man, come on, not today.
What do you guys
Quick
do?
in the pace.
You quicken the pace.
Yeah.
You move through the underbrush.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. This is where I kill you all. No, actually, this is where you critically succeeded all your rolls, and my whole plan is stupid. You guys should be able to see a new map, right? At some point.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, why can't? Yes. Hang on a second. Roll 20 on the player side can't see the new map, so I'm gonna reload it just so that the stream can see it. Sorry, guys.
That title. Ooh.
Boop. Wait, is this the same?
It just reloaded the last one.
Oh, I know why. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me reload as players. Hey, guys, this is a quick example of how to rejoin a campaign as a player in Roll20. Sorry. See how that worked? It was just a quick rules bites thing. It was just a boop.
There you go.
There it is. It's called the Festering. What's the matter with the title, John? It's like
no pus.
It's like Dr.
Surprise.
Pimple Pop. It's like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, the pus is in the mound. Got it.
Yep, got it. Good. Let's do that. Let's go squeeze the mound. The adventure's over. It's fine. So, I think we got this. So you basically press through the underbrush, and it gets pretty dense. Not to mention the fact that there's this fungus situation that you have to kind of navigate through. But as you press through, and I'm going to assume, as it always is, it's Grimwald who presses through first. Grimwald. You see ahead of you, of course, a hill. It's fairly bare. There's spotty grass, right? But what just nauseates you from all of the holes that you see noted on the map, these slow, sort of leaching rivers of pus and infection just sort of ooze. You step out of the underbrush and almost it halts you in your tracks, and the team kind of bundles up behind you. What do you do?
I get out of their way and probably make a disgusted noise like ugh.
You can smell it. It smells of infected wounds, like when the soldiers would come home after weeks of travel, coming home from a battle. It's on the air. It's thick. So the hill is fairly tall, and at the very top is what would appear to be a fairly smooth, almost like glass, right? Like this stone obelisk. It only stands, and you would have thought, Oswald, from what you saw before, like it was 40 feet tall, but it only stands just 3 or 4 feet off of the hill. Insignificant from a distance, really. What do you guys do?
It's looking at this thing, is my head hurting way fucking hard?
Not so much, but you do feel dread. You feel something's definitely not right here. Geshwin, maybe you even more so, given your thing as well.
You guys got anything you want to do?
Should we start working our way up there and give wide berth to those holes and rivers of pus?
Yeah, usually one does, give wide berths to rivers of pus.
As long as we're all on the same page here.
I mean,
you never know. Ghosts might think it's gravy.
No.
I'm for one. I'm gonna try to peek my head out, like stay kind of stealthily behind the rock here, and try to look and just do a perception to see if there's anything. Obviously, this whole thing is unusual, but
Yes.
anything that stands out. Never mind.
Yeah. So, Geshwin, you round the corner. A corner, right? It's a roughly circular rock. So you kind of press in next to this rock, and you can smell this mixture of moss, which is a familiar and welcome smell. You haven't smelled normal nature in a long time, and just infection. As you're kind of pressed up against the rock, looking around the corner, it's slick and stringy, and your knees are like in the gook. You look around the corner, though, and looking for something in particular, you hear this clunk, clunk, sort of cowbell sound. Clunk, clunk. It's distant, and you don't understand. It's like a rusted, fragile, ancient bell. But somehow it shouldn't be that loud, right? If it's that far away, it confuses you for a moment, and therefore you perceive nothing based on your failure. What are the rest of you guys doing? So Geshwin darts around the rock and is listening and peeking around. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Oswald's just making his way up the hill. He's like, there's maybe that moment of like that initial wave of just that rank that only like raw infection could give you, like that smell. And he probably stops there, and you know he's just gonna make his way up the hill. He's got like the axe in one hand, and he's just got the bag in the other, and he's just like it's just like a stop at the edge of the clearing. He like shuffles the bag, and like maybe there's a moment of like recognition on his face, like where he like it's a solitary one, but he just trundles on like there's no big thing for him. He's just walking up the hill.
Move you where you go. Bartleby, you see this. What do you do?
Yeah, Bartleby will be keeping pace with Oswald. They both have the bags of trinkets, and this is where they should go. We think, or I think at least. So. But while we're going up, is there anything that Bartleby can make out about the shape of the obelisk or anything else?
Give me an option roll.
Okay.
We're having some jitter, by the way. If the entire Earth blows up, it's not my fault. It's a internet thing, probably.
Okay.
Zoom's fault.
I also have some advancements in Reichland lore. That'd be a better roll.
No, sure not.
Okay. Cool. What modifier?
I think it's pretty normal, so challenging. So let's go for 0.
0. Okay.
So, Bartleby, you're walking up and looking for something that would stand out, right? Something that's particularly interesting. And that's when this happens. Hang on a second. Takes me a couple clicks. I know. So there's this sort of sound that comes. It's distant at first, but it gets much louder. I'm assuming you can see what's happening there. Yes. From the more distant side, as you're kind of walking up, and Bartleby, I'm going to move you if you don't mind. Oh, I thought I moved to the objects and tokens. So you get about to here. Okay. Why can't I move you, man? Oh, dude, the internet is shitting the bed right now. Everyone's trying to connect with their families on Zoom. Damn this family time. It's not my fault. I don't even understand what's happening right now. Okay, that's better. So you get about to there, at which point from the other side of the hill, you kind of hear this sound. And these fairly tall, and we're talking like 6, 7, 2, give or take, things come sort of being born out of these pus holes with a sliding, slithering, snotty sound. What is it saying to me on Zoom? Okay, got it. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Yeah, COVID-19. It's infected. It's infected our stream right now, but it's okay, I think. Jim, so you heard me, right? You heard all the and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Great.
I like how at any point in this game we can just interject like popping pustule noises and it just be okay. Like
it
just insert like a random sound bit from Dr. Pimple Popper and it'd be okay. Like you can just voice over this whole campaign with that. Just
Cosmicosis knows.
Tides of Nurgle soundboard.
Yeah, it's tides of that would be great. Yeah, so Bartleby and Oswald are pretty close together as they're walking up and trudging toward this obelisk. Bartleby, you're looking at this obelisk, trying to sort out, thinking, do I recognize this? But the sound of these things emerging, and again, this clunk, clunk off in the distance bell. So to be clearer on what these things look like, again, they 6.5, say, feet tall. they're mutated humans of some kind and covered with these huge orange yellow pus balls. A horn juts from the center of their heads. One of them, its entire abdomen is this gaping mouth that's like with entrails hanging through the teeth, and the other one is just wide open and just seeping rot and decay. That's the welcome wagon. What do you guys do? So how do you react to that, Bartleby, when you see this?
Bartleby is going to just kind of stop dead in his tracks and just kind of staring at this. He hasn't seen creatures like this before, so he's a little freaked right now.
Excellent.
Especially after seeing what the little ones can do.
Hey, Oswald, what about you? What are you doing?
I think Oswald has like. Do I notice where these holes are in the ground when I'm up here?
You do. They're sizable, and they're leaking. They're leaking pus.
Does it look like they have been recently dug up?
Are you just quick? So you're like looking at the holes. Do you see these things? Are you trying to sort out
Yeah,
like a quick?
like
okay.
no, like I think
Okay.
this is what him walking up and he like looks up to see them like being birds out of the ground, and then he's looking at them. I just wanted to know what they were.
It doesn't look like they were dug. It looks like they were pushed out from inside.
Pushed out. Okay, yeah. So I think Oswald like he looks at it. He's like, okay, well, why are these random bodies here? And he like looks up and he's like, oh. And like that's a minute where like he's like looking up at them because he's only like 5'3", and he's got like this axe on his shoulder. And he's like, oh. And I think I don't need to do that, but I want to. Do these guys have like a fear rating?
So
like
two things. First, I would like you to make a cool test. So these are corrupting influences. So actually, you're gonna all need it. Corbin, is this representative? Are you way back there? Like, nope. Are you on the nope train?
I was debating whether or not I wanted to keep up with them, so I think I would probably keep a little bit behind Geschwind, not that far back as I was in map.
Okay, got it. So you're kind of bringing up the rears, but not to the point where it's like, all right. So go ahead, guys, and give me. I'm going to need cool test challenging ones, and this is a corruption check, right? So these are moderate corrupting influences because they are demons, and there is more than one of them. So far, you're both disappointing me.
Sorry.
What was your
challenging? Is
no modifier. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, good. At least Geschwin gets corruption.
Mine's coming. Sorry.
No, I succeeded.
He's good.
No, I know. I'll explain.
Oh,
If you roll. No,
Oh no.
no, it's fine.
This is the reverse
success tax.
corruption.
What's the
Success
modifier
tax.
on this one?
Zero.
No, it's just
Zero.
zero. It's zero.
0.
Sweet. So Corbin and Geschwin. So the way this works is if it was a lesser influence, corrupting influence, you success would just negate the effect, but you require success level of 2 or better. So you gain 1 corruption point, Mr. Geschwind, and Corbin, you will gain 2. So the fun fact about this is like sanity in Call of Cthulhu. It kind of ticks away, and ultimately you'll start sprouting tentacles out of your butt and fun things that I make up for you. So, yep, whatever.
Would resistance to chaos count towards this?
Tell me about it. Probably. Goddamn halfling. The halfling explodes.
Your strong constitution allows you to more readily survive a specific threat. You may automatically pass the first test to resist the specified threat. In this case, I'm guessing it's chaos. If the success level is important, use your toughness bonus as success level for the test.
8. What's your toughness
The
bonus?
halfling beat you.
No, he did. That's fine. What's your toughness bonus, buddy? 0.
Toughness
Great.
bonus is 3.
So if we can get to 500 followers on our YouTube channel before the end of this session, the halfling will just explode in a rain of blood and pus.
Yes.
It'll be over. Yeah, you're fine. So what I will tell you, though, is you are absolutely terrified. And
That's why I'm in the rear.
your whole family dies. Also, The next roll here is fear. So as these things emerge, first of all, you're this wave of just wrongness, and that's the sort of corrupting influence. But then there's just fear. They're horrific. One of these things is walking, and its entire stomach is a mouth that's just. So please give me yet another cool test or endurance.
So,
I'll let you do either one.
I want to make a leadership test here.
Okay.
And I want to basically, I don't know, maybe see if I pass first, but I want to make a leadership test here to try and help them, since at all possible. Because I know that.
Let's do this. Let's. You tell me how you represent leadership, Rivers, and then make the roll. We'll see how it affects them. But
yeah,
what do they see?
Yeah. So I want to find out first if I'm, not shitting myself. So.
That'd be funny. Hi guys, I'm super scared, but I'm going to lead you into battle.
Yeah, no, because there'd be no sense in that,
Bartleby, that's your second cool test, isn't it? God, he is just.
Yeah, it is.
He's like, whatever. Nana,
it's like the one thing that I always roll pretty well on.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I rolled. I have 3 degrees of success, or success levels, not consume alcohol. I'm not drinking right now. I didn't push the other button. But
that would be appropriate for what's about to happen to you guys.
No, maybe that's what I do. So
is it? Fuck it. Do it. Maybe it is what you do.
Okay. I like that so much better. So like instead of a cool roll, I just go like, like there's that moment where Oswald, like all these people were freaking out and all that stuff, and Oswald's got his axe. And he's like, you don't know where it gets, but it has like Corbin Mossberger embezzled on it, and it's like got his little symbol on it and like a little embroidered picture of him, and I just like knock it back all the way, and everybody's like turned to look at me, and I just drop it, do like a loud burp, and then just start walking towards it like it's no big thing.
Oh God.
Like, that's how I do the leadership, and I'll make the leadership roll for it. As lackadaisical it is, I feel that's very peak Oswald right now.
That is incredible. Who failed their fear rating? Was that Geshwin?
It was.
It was. We'll wait for the leadership roll in a second. We'll see if I may override that, because that was pretty epic. You just throw it back and.
I only have the leadership of like a really
Black Hand
really
Oracle.
Small number, so
it's gonna get bad. They're lesser. I nerf them a little. Chat. I wanted to at least get them down into the pus hole.
Oh God, we're about to die harmfully.
The juicy pus hole awaits you guys. Who knew?
Here you go.
Okay.
Well, that's intimidation. Whoops,
you're like rolling all the wrong shit, but it's working for you. So it's like, first of all, I get drunk, and then I intimidate the demon. I show him my bag of pottery. This is too funny. I'm going to wait for the boop, but I'm going to tell Geshwin what happens with his fear. So the way that works, because you failed, and I'm so sorry for you. When you're subject to fear, basically, you are suffering -1 success level on all tests. So you'll go ahead and roll your test, but then look at the success level and drop it by 1. Bad. Super bad.
Regular failure. I use my last fortune.
You are out of fortune? Good. Thanks. All right. Okay. So you same difference here. You're -1 success level on all tests. To affect the source, you cannot come any closer. You're not going to do it. This is just too scary, partially because as they climb up out of these pus holes, they bring with them this weird rippling wave of green, like behind me, green energy. It's like vapor, and it's just not normal, and they're going to come kill you too, so that's scary. If it comes closer to you, you have to pass another challenging cool test, or you're going to gain a broken condition, which is also bad.
I'm going to use a resilience to delay psychology for 1 round.
Well done. I hate it when you read the rules and you're good at rolling. Oswald, did we get your roll? So it's a failure.
So the thing about it is if I'm higher status than them, which I am bronze or the second tier, if I'm higher status than them, I pass. Because,
bronze 2? Is that what you are?
Well, no, I'm I'm the second tier of mine, and because I'm a craftsman technically, I'm
Yeah.
a higher tier. I'm like a higher social status than them because I've advanced to that. I don't know if that would apply now because of the way that it works that we're doing gameplay, but if not, then I failed.
So Oswald steps up, and I'm going to give you that status check. I'm not sure because there have been some developments and career changes, but at this moment it doesn't matter. It's you stand up and you grab this skin of fire wine, which is essentially like whiskey, and you just suck it down, gulp it, throw the leather bottle, and turn and walk up the hill. What does that do if you would have succeeded? What's the boon there?
I think it's more along the lines of like Oswald's showing the way, like, you know, everybody else has like faltered, and yet again Oswald's the one that like, hey, I'll go there even if I have to do it myself. And like he's not obviously running towards it, but he's like, well, I'm resigned to it. In his own head he's like, I'm doing it no matter what.
So the camera, guys, think of the
isn't gonna stop me.
Think of the cinematic over Oswald's shoulder. He's got his axe and his bag of shit, his bag of pottery, some jars and whatever. And he's walking up the hill, and these things are just closing in, and it's dusk, and the dome is diffusing the light to the point where it's just like Night of the Comet brown. He's gonna die. What do the rest of you guys do? What do you do? I mean, you know it. There's no fucking doubt in your mind he's gonna die. And those of you who are affected by fear, keep that in mind. What do you do? Oswald, move yourself on the map. You guys would move yourself around so we can visualize that.
Is everybody else in fear? Please come help me. Please, God.
Moving up very slowly. I mean, the shovel is firmly gripped in two hands, like white-knuckled at this point. I don't want to go forward.
Are you still only fighting with a shovel? I love that about you.
Yeah. Hey, it's worked a lot better than my rapier.
Yeah, so I think Oswald, like, he's got like this pottery out in front of him, and maybe he's like sat it down in front of him, and he's like reached into it to like get a big clump of it, and like he's like holding it in his hands, like as they're like looming over him, and he's got like the axe in one hand, and he's doomed to himself, and he like holds up the axe and does like a yell, like, you know, come and get me, I'm a son of Sigmar, like all that, like hype it up. And I want to make a religion roll here to maybe try and emblazon my comrades to help me.
So I'm going to ask you to make a religion roll for other reasons too. And I'm going to, because of that bravado, Sigmar smiles upon you, and I'm going to give you a plus 10.
Oh, man. Here we go. There we are. Special skills, religion.
Yep.
I have this very high, but...
You haven't been to church in a while, which is why you got to go back to church.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to go to church, obviously.
Yeah. You could go to church in Feldwig. It means something different to them, but that's okay.
Yeah, guys.
Ooh. So as you're there and you're starting to dig through this and you're praying and you're searching for your faith, Oswald, you're kind of down on one knee and you glance up. You hear both of these things kind of howl, and the sound they make isn't even describable. It's this two voices, one of them, and the other one is chanting at the same time out of the same mouth. Something about Nurgle, the sound Nurgle. You don't quite get it. But then they charge. They will both gain +1 advantage, and they will be charging into attack. So they will be attacking with these things called virulent blades.
Oh.
That's so stupid.
Oh, it's an opposed melee test, by the way.
Yeah, make it.
Yeah.
I know.
Do I
But they have a critical success, which means, here's the fun part. Yeah, so you can oppose it, but you're going to receive a critical wound, which is bad.
Oh, no.
So 11
Hit
is...
location is...
Left arm.
Left arm,
You right-handed?
He is left-handed.
I think Jason's got the dice tonight.
I am going to spend the fate die to completely avoid that, or spend fate to completely, like, burn it to just avoid that entirely. Luke. And what it is I think he, like, bent down to go on a knee, and these things come at him, and he just steps back. Like, it's like the head tilt back, like, oh shit, I didn't expect you to be there.
Yes, and you're thinking, man, that could have been my left arm. So yes, you spend your fate. So you lean back and avoid that one's slash of its gnarly blade, and this one kind of comes in as well. with its advantage. So that last one, by the way, since it didn't deal damage because you're a jerk, it will lose its advantage. Okay. So Oswald, tell me what happens. So
nice.
you go ahead and oppose it. Go ahead and oppose it.
So Oswald is...
It's the dice sound more than anything that makes me happy. Because
Yes, I know. I like the dice little effect on Roll20. It's really nice. The 3D one.
Why do they have to be baby shit brown though? Is what I want to know.
You can change the color of them.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so you this thing comes in. Tell me how this works out. So it comes in. The first one swipes at you. You definitely kind of lean back and narrowly avoid, thanks to fate.
Yeah, I think just because of how Oswald is, like his precise nature, he leans back just enough. Like he gets like a little nick on his, like you can see like the blade or whatever it has, his sword, like chop in front of him, and it's just like just a little bit away from his shoulder, just a little bit, maybe even nicks his shoulder, like the clothing, his toga, and like the top part of the toga unfurls, like and like as he like leans back, he just like grabs the axe and like uppercuts at the other one with I think it's 8. Yeah, it's 8 damage.
So you swipe upward, and this thing, sort of, the rest of you are coming in behind him. These things are moving entirely too fast. You swipe upward, and it howls outward as you split its bottom jaw, but it doesn't even seem to give a shit. It bleeds this green, stringy shit, and it seems that the battle is on. What do the rest of you do?
Oswald like grabs the axe in 2 hands and is like, "Come on!"
You will gain 1
it's
advantage,
like
so make sure you keep track of that for your next attack, by the way. It's plus 10. Who's next in my initiatives? That was Oswald's. And actually, Grimwald, you're first in the initiative, technically, so let's do that. So you and then Bartleby, and then we'll go back to our normal order. Grimwald, what do you do? So you see this going on.
Yeah, move up and engage that one on the left.
So you charge up to this thing and engage. You succeeded with your fear, right? You spent your psychology. You got one
negative effects.
Fair. So you've got this one action, and then you have to go back to being terrified and wanting to see your mom. It's been a long time, but you want to see her. So go ahead and let's have some opposed attacking going on here. It's going to oppose you with its chitinous claw. "Hello, Grimwald," says it. You didn't charge. You didn't have time to charge or distance, so it's going to be straight. Okay, good. Great. Well, fine. What was that? Success level 2 versus 1. Huh? Yes.
1.
Yes, it did. Absolutely. So you will gain no advantage. It will gain advantage against you, which I'm now tracking. So basically, the turn is now over. Next up on initiative is Bartleby. So Bartleby, you see the two of them rushing in and fighting these things that are just unholy. What do you do?
Sure. So Bartleby, probably would start to react as soon as he saw both of the 2 monsters attacking Oswald, and he'll move up and attempt to, to draw one over onto himself and make an attack.
Now, what are you attacking with? Shovel as well? Do you?
No, I don't have a shovel. Let me see. I think what I have in my hand is a hand axe.
Yeah. So you kind of come running up to you. Is there any kind of like, are you just sort of stoic and running up like, I'm gonna?
I mean, Bartleby will, he's engaging. So yeah, he'll yell a little. He's definitely trying to get this monster's attention, to take some of the heat off of Oswald. So, he'll shout as he runs up.
Yep.
And take a swing with his hand axe.
So combat without any other modifier is going to be +0. So challenging, unless you got a distance or charge. And guess when you have the distance,
should be a 2-on-1, right?
I'm technically in combat.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's a good call.
Combat with.
So is that 10 or 20?
Oswald, you're engaged with the one on the right. So that's both of you, and 2-on-1. I think is what, 20?
Yeah, it's 20. The first one is 20, and then the next one is when it starts to ratchet up.
Oh God! Of course you did. So, hang on. I'm going to go with its offhand because it was trying to stab Oswald with its putrid blade. So it reaches up with its chitinous claw, and it does the failure thing. So that's, of course, what it does. It crab-like claw kind of snaps out and kind of clasps together close to your head, but you do, in fact, hit it in the body. And what's damage there? Is that 7? Oh, my God.
7.
+5, right?
Yeah, it's success level +5, so he's got 7. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's 7 damage plus success level, right?
Yes, no, that's
12 damage.
Yeah, exactly. So this thing, as you kind of hack at it, tell me, how does it react? It takes significant damage, and we'll get there in a second. It's very close to critical wounds, but describe for the folks, how does that look?
Yeah, so Bartleby just comes down like sort of where this creature's clavicle would be on its clawed hand, and it just sort of like plow into it and struggle to pull the axe out, and then sort of just like brandish the axe again to try to attract the monster's attention onto himself.
So it staggers back, and as you sink the blade into this thing, its anatomy isn't even right. So you just devastating wound would have taken any human out, and it staggers back, and where this wound is, a mouth begins to form, and it starts to chant this Nurgle, whatever the fuck thing the other mouth is saying. But yeah, you absolutely teach it a bit of a lesson, and you're like, Nana says hi, or whatever. One-liner. Nice.
Nana says hi, boy.
Corbin, so you're in the back.
Oh, God.
You see this. What were you doing? So you've been in the back and observing. So there's been a couple seconds. How are you spending your time in those couple of seconds? What does that look like? Corbin.
Oh, I'm sorry. You broke up.
Yeah, I didn't hear you call Corbin either.
I always broke up.
So everybody's charging at these things. I'm just gonna follow suit. I'm gonna whip the shovel off my back, go and go running in at it.
I love you so much. This is a non-damaging weapon. I want to introduce it.
So we can ride it.
Yeah. Okay. So you whip the shovel off your back and you go charging in full steam. So you use your move and move up. That's going to give you 2 for 1. So they're 2 on 1 rather. That's plus 20. Keep in mind though that the minimum damage that you can do is 1, but non-damaging weapon in this specific case, a shovel, is not, 1. Sorry.
That's okay.
Roll. You have intimidation as well. Give me. You know what? Hang on a second. I want you to make for me, please, for the epic moment, a very hard, which is minus 30, intimidation roll, because probably this plague bearer has never been charged by a shovel-bearing halfling that's got a bad beard going on right now because he hasn't shaved in a few days. So let's have it. Oh damn. Okay.
Wow, minus 11.
Roll 20, come on, please. All right, so it's going to oppose you with its putrid blade, swiping outward, and it's going to get a critical success, which is terrible, which means it will actually score a critical wound. So as you, this is actually so awesome. As you come up with your shovel just full bore and you're just trying to hit it, it stares you down and just swats you with this blade. And it hits you in the right arm. Are you going to use any kind of special fate to avoid the bad thing that's going to happen to you?
I don't think I have that.
Oh, you're right. Halflings don't have it. What? I didn't do it. I just hit the button. I used the James script.
No, I'm telling him to cheat you out of your victory.
I think critical success on, because this isn't his attack. I think it's just an attack.
Not true. Nope. Sure. No, it
okay.
Yep, it will actually. The critical success actually occur. I read the rules this morning, but it's true. It is really true. If James agrees, then I actually got it right. I aspire to nothing than if I just get James to agree with me that I got the rules right, because he's science. James is science. So Eric, tell me, is there any avoiding this at all?
Yes, I'm just making sure that
I
can.
I don't think you can. Sorry. Okay, fine. I'm going to let you roll for your critical wound. So give me the D100 roll for your critical wound. In the arm. It's only your little arm, though. Wait. Of course. It's like you have an ingrown fingernail or something. No, okay. So you're basically, you come in with your shovel and you try to attack this thing, and literally just with great precision it hits the end of the shovel as you're trying to stab it, but the force behind the blow is such wah, 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 that it jars your arm.
Makes sense.
Don't look at me like that, Eric. I'm coming for you, bro. So you drop whatever was held in that hand, so your shovel clatters to the ground, and you are now standing unarmed in front of this really tall, scary demon. But you survived. So let's move on before I cry. Geshwin, what are you doing?
Yes, but it still went poorly.
Yes, it's true.
Just not as poorly as it could have.
Geshwin, what are you doing?
I've been watching this all unfold within, mere seconds before my eyes. Seeing the halfling charge in to maybe not the best results, but still valiantly charging in. Everybody's more courageous. I think back to Bartleby's comment about we're all in this together. So I am going to try to muster my strength and do kind of like I'm not sure if I can do this, but more of a roundabout charge. Oh, the screen just went black.
Yeah, internet got weird.
God.
You are right next to it.
It's
Am
okay.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're to the right of it.
I'm going to give you your advantage. So you get your charge. So you're and you just run. You get your +1 advantage.
Yep. But then I have -1 because I'm afraid. So balances out. But I'm just running with a shovel, and I'm gonna just try to smack it across the space between the horn and the mouth, I guess.
What, the first mouth you mean?
Yeah,
This isn't even
big
the line
mouth.
that's making me laugh like that. It's just like I could see you visualizing this. So give me. You're gonna.
So
it's coming
that
closer to
balances out
you.
to just a
Give me your cool check. Because remember, you're suffering from fear. You're going to try to move toward it. I'll let you override it if you succeed here.
Damn it.
Yeah, you've.
How many
all of the things that
is
you
it?
just said happen in your head. You're terrified. You are absolutely terrified. You can't move closer to it. You just can't. But it's coming for you. You're sure of that.
Shit.
I'll let you. So you recognize you can't pull this off. Right about say here, when you start your charge. I'll let you use the other half of your action. What do you? You're like I can't, right? What do you do?
I quickly look down at this body next to me and see if there's anything that I think like. Is there a spade? Is there
like
a garden hoe
shovel
or something like that?
Yeah, actually, there is a broadsword sort of lying there. It looks like he was sort of ripped open, and his spine is kind of not there. I don't know who did that, but yeah, he has. There's a broadsword. There's a broadsword lying there.
I have to be proficient with that, right?
That's basic melee. It's a hand weapon. Yeah.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Yeah, so you're okay with that. You grab it? So much better than a shovel. This may be like a new career high for you.
Kind of want to keep the shovel, not gonna lie. No, I'll pick it up. And I recognize this moment as I'm now going to be a warrior. I'm not going to run away from everything my entire life.
Is this
This
it?
is that,
Is this
that
the
scene
moment?
where the Jurassic Park music comes on.
Yeah.
Da, 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 and he's like picking up the
The
weapon.
defining moment.
Yeah.
Brown light comes down through the dome.
Yeah, as he, like in the background, you get just trampled by a demon.
Just one shot.
Meanwhile, let's move on. So you pick up this this sword, and you're having a moment, and there's light shining on you, and like Steven Spielberg and the film crew. But the demon, oh, that's not what I was hoping for at all, is gonna attack Grimwald. This one. So can you oppose that, please, and hopefully fail real bad?
What dodge?
Dude, the chat is like
Wow.
full of ninja advice.
I know, I wish I read that in time.
No, don't read it. Read it tomorrow when this is all over for you and the others.
Is there an outnumbered modifier for this one?
No, not opposing. No, only attacking. I think, but it will go with that. Probably not. 2 minus 1 minus. Nope.
He got me.
He did. 7 damage to your left leg. So as he kind of lunges in, you attempt at all costs to kind of block this blow, but this horrific, jagged, kind of rust laden blade just kind of rips into your leg. So you're going to take 7. You soak your toughness and any armor that you may have. Yes?
Armor.
What's armor? Just wrap the shovel around your leg. Staggering off to the side as you would, right? It is then going to move on to the next demon who was attacking. All theatrics aside, he is really focused on, for whatever reason, taking on Oswald. So he is going to attack as well. Oswald with his blade. Oswald, please oppose the roll.
Yeah, I will.
Pain cost to him as well.
Yeah. One of these guys has been hurt pretty bad.
Yep, this one. I just got that. So, what's this?
I have advantage, so that's a pass, but just barely.
Oh, fair. Okay. So you come in. Tell me. So it comes in, just ravenous, and its kind of gut mouth is chomping at you. What does that look like? How do you defend yourself?
I think with Oswald, like what he does is he's got the axe gripped in a double grip, and he it has his sword that it brings down over his head, and he bats it back with the axe, catches it with a hook, and then flips it, just as a sort of martial training that he's received as a young guy.
You still got hit.
Yeah. No, because I passed. I don't think.
Yeah,
I did.
he had advantage.
Yeah,
and I think that brings him.
But
this is the way. But this is SL4.
I
just that just occurred to me. Sorry.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah.
You're gonna feel the pain. That's 11. Success level in 7. Yep. So 11 in a body. How many wounds you got? Is that a critical?
It's not a critical, no. But I'm down to 3. I'm down to 1 HP.
Oh,
so
fuck.
I'm not in critical wounds, but I'm down to 1
so,
HP.
Totally different cinematic. This thing, Oswald is there and valiantly defending and kind of clang, clang, and it literally just sort of stiffens, just with all of its strength, dead square in his chest, and flings him backwards. I'm not going to move him around the map because Roll20 will panic. Grimald, what do? You have the one that's in front of you in Corbin.
Is that the one that just hit Oswald?
No.
Okay. Try and take this one down. I'll use another point of resolve to not lose my mind here, so I can act and attack.
Well played. If there were only an achievement thing that happened, you would get the point user achievement right now. Point choose. Let's have a roll. So you're going to attack it. It's going to oppose you.
2-on-1?
It is 2-on-1, and I think you caused damage to it last time, yeah? I thought.
No, I missed.
Oh, God damn it, James. Ooh, in your face. No, wait, in my face. You win. So it's +3 success levels. So yeah, you
What is that?
What did you 73, right? So you would hit it in the it is
You probably clicked the skill and not the weapon button.
Oh, this is gonna be gross. This is the body. You do. What was your damage?
11.
Okay. You stab your sword into its tumorous gut, and just this massive boil just, and I mean you can hear just as you slide your sword in, and pus just pours out of it. Oh yeah, it's bad, and yes, it takes enough damage, but it is not in fact going to take a critical wound as a result of that. Oswald, what are you doing?
Giving swift justice to the one that just fucked me up.
Give it.
Yeah, I think Oswald, he's got that blade somewhere in his chest, and he's just gonna bring the axe as hard as he can and over it
while the blade is in his chest.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, maybe it's got that he's gonna try to grab the arm and just smack, until he stops moving or it stops moving, because he doesn't really know how to fight. He just
and it's gonna have advantage obviously since it did some bad to you last time. Not +100, +10.
I have 4 success levels.
Yep. So you beat him. So you are in fact going to do some damage. So reverse that roll. 62.
So it's only 1 success level. No, because he failed outright, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that's 4 plus the 5 from the hand weapon. That's 9. Then the success levels is
to the body as well.
13, and it's to the body, I believe.
Yes.
62. Yeah.
So at this point, Oswald, your target, I'm going to let you describe it because you're gross too, is this weird mouth thing, this Beetlejuice-like mouth. You slide slam your axe into that. What does that look like as this thing takes it?
So imagine like if you've ever cut a tree with an axe and like you've like grabbed a hold of it on a position, and maybe this is where like Oswald just grabs onto like the shoulder as it stabs him, and he just takes the axe and like repeatedly brings it through the chest over and over until it like like it's standing upright and it falls apart, and you get this gelatinous like weighty as like this guts and pus fall to his feet. And
Give me a critical roll.
Give me a critical roll. Middle of it, you know?
Give me a critical wound roll because you're there with him.
47.
I hate you. That's probably bad. Let's go for really bad. Oh, so what is a bleeding condition from a demonic creature? Actually, I'm sorry. So do me a favor, Oswald, and I'm going to let you make this thing's willpower check. So give me a D100 roll, please. And this is important. You basically slash this thing across its gut, and this pus starts to spray. And as you're kind of staring at it, it's staring it in your eye, or it's staring you in your eyes. It starts to waver, and there's this nauseating wrongness to its presence. And then with just this sort of vaporous green, it's gone. Corbin, please give me the psychology roll. Give me the cool check for me. You witness this, and your little halfling.
Normal?
Yes. Well, challenging, so 0.
While he's rolling, was it a bastard sword I had?
No, it is a long
broadsword.
sword. Broadsword, yes.
Which is a hand weapon, I think.
Yep, it is.
Okay. I don't see that.
Hand weapon is a catch-all, so like the hand axe is a catch-all. Like it's just what you stylize it as.
Yes, what he said. And then the damage may vary a little bit depending. So Corbin, you see this, and you are literally stricken by fear. So Oswald basically slashes across this creature that had seen better days to begin with, and somehow, and Bartleby, you much the same, we should probably make a roll, is dispatched. What do you guys do in the fleeting seconds that you have? So Oswald basically slashes across this thing's gut, and its eyes kind of light up, and then with this weird vapor, it's suddenly not there anymore. What do you do? How do you react, Bartleby and Corbin?
How do I feel based on this roll? What does this do?
It's terrifying. What if you saw that happening in your living room right now for real? It's that bad.
Okay, so I just got my weapon knocked out of my hand. This happens. I scramble away.
Okay.
Just scramble backwards away from this situation.
Okay. You scramble away, move you to where you go. You have move. Bartleby, how about you?
Probably at least that far.
I don't really know what Bartleby would do. Like, just seeing this creature just get killed and then suddenly vanish in like a puff of green smoke. Like, I'm not sure. So I guess Bartleby will probably take a step back.
So there's one to your left. Do you feel? Make a cool check, Bartleby, real quick. As you're that torn as a player, I get it. But just if you're that torn, make one more as you second guess. You know what Nana always said, Bartleby? Nana always said, you look evil in the eye, and you poke both of them out. Do I get a reverse? That was good. So Bartleby, you were, I'm just going to go with, as torn as you were, I'm looking at your face. You were just like, Yeah, I got this. Plus your buddy's there. And I think you're up next in the initiative, actually. Yes. Oswald. Yep, that's you. What do you do?
Bartleby's gonna step.
Oh, shit! I thought
Sorry.
you were talking to me. Sorry. You said Oswald, and I was like, he was
no,
cutting
no.
in and out. So
Sorry.
My turn.
Yes. It is absolutely
All
your turn.
Cool. All right. So Bartleby will gingerly step over this unknown corpse right here and press the attack on the remaining minion of evil with his hand axe. And let me get that open.
You're gonna have plus 20. Let's go at plus 20.
All right. Cool. I will pull that right now. There we go.
Jeez.
Stop laughing at me, Jim. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh, if only the dice are like this when I DM. Forget it.
Do you hear him cackling? He's like, it's bad. Okay. All right, let me oppose you real quick. I'm sorry. I'm slowing things down, but I'm having a good time laughing at you guys. He's going to use his putrid blade. So you have, in fact, had a critical wound. So you swat at this thing. You smack it right in the wrist, and it does, in fact, drop this virulent, awful blade, which hits the ground and in almost like a millisecond just dissolves into like these sort of rusty worm like filaments that just dissolve into the ground. So it will now only have one weapon, which doesn't make it any less dangerous.
It's also going to take 13 wounds plus if there's any more wounds built into the crit.
So the knife drops to the ground. It falls to one knee. Bartleby, Corbin. Oh God, no! Don't let the halfling kill my bad guy. All right, halfling, this is your moment, man.
Eye to eye right now.
Yes.
That looks like charging distance to me.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it actually. Yes, it is actually.
Yeah, but if I regained enough resolve to go charging back in after this,
You would have to make a
Burn
cool
wings,
check.
You have to.
You would have to make a cool check, but you can also use your resolve.
Burn it.
Burn it. Yeah.
make a cool check.
Burn it.
He's like, no.
Let's let's make a resilience point for the I will not fail result.
You're just gonna go.
Yep, I'm just gonna go. I don't have my shovel,
If you critically fail, that'll be fantastic.
but I got a dagger, so I'll whip that out and I'll charge in and plunge it into whatever looks vulnerable.
Do it.
particularly bulby and pussy looking, so he
Yes.
can get covered in it, like Oswald was a couple episodes ago.
Head first torpedo it.
Yeah. Off a
3-on-1
cliff,
and it's
use it as
prone.
like a.
I haven't been keeping track any modifiers.
And not for you at this point. You are out of combat. You will get the
there's no
plus one
advantage or
advantage for
anything.
charge. You'll get advantage for charging in. Right.
It's
Okay.
the 10, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me what this looks like to those. So this thing is down, and there's already sort of pus streaming from the wounds it's incurred. And in comes this screaming little. What do we see? Like, what does that look like?
Well, he comes charging in with an overhead blow and intent on stabbing it in something vital. I'm assuming that either he completely misses or the thing throws its arm up and instead the dagger plunges into its forearm, according to this.
So cinematically, that's pretty funny. Give me its willpower check, please. So you come in, and what the rest of you guys hear? What do you hear? Does Corbin scream as he comes in? Is he
Yes,
just
of course. It's battle cry.
fucking
Yes.
You jump and stab it in the arm, and this dagger sinks into it, and it looks down at its own arm and looks at you knowingly, like it's memorizing your face, and you're still screaming and stabbing it in the arm as it just dissipates in front of you.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
Nothing good. And it's like Oswald, like, He's got like this big gaping hole where like the blade went in his shoulder, and he just like he probably just sits down like on the ground where he's got the axe upside down, and he's like, we need to get up the hill before more than things arrive. And he like tries to pick himself up, but he's obviously at this point like too far gone. Like he's 1 point away from getting destroyed, and so he is kind of like limping as he like tries to put himself up on the axe head.
Grab the bag and help you up.
So you drag the
I
bag and
appreciate it.
move toward the top of the hill. So there's the matter of the obelisk, which Bartleby, give me a Reichland lore test. I'll give you that actually. Now that you're right.
Lore test, all right.
Yeah.
I have that too, but I'm not very good at it.
You're still staring at your dagger screaming. I picture that's going to go on for like 5 minutes.
I'm unstoppable.
So Bartleby, there's this moment where everything behind you gets a little muted. As you turn and you look at this obelisk, and you have this sudden realization of what it is. It's warpstone. So for those who don't know, warpstone is effectively the physical incarnation of magical energy. It's like, and remember, in Warhammer, the warp is a bad place. It's essentially hell. It's chaos. It's
Bartleby's just going to step back a little. You know, like he's out in front. He'll step back a little next to his companions, and he'll say, "Is that what I think it is? Is that warpstone? I've only heard of it. Never seen it."
Yeah, like maybe it's now that the fight's died down. Oswald's looked up and has been helped up to his feet, and he's like, "It looks like it. What's it like? Is it just like raw stone, or is it like carved out into some shape?"
Yeah, it's an obelisk, so it's just a sort of narrowing. It's got 4 sides. It's carved, and it's incredibly smooth. It's like nothing you've seen. Now, so your Reichland lore roll would also tell you that typically the markers for these tombs are much more primitive. In the Hagar Cribs in particular, the Hagar Cribs is an old place. This is unnatural, and it doesn't belong here. Whatever it is that it marks is likely worse than whatever it is that may be out and around you. You guys are all kind of gathered around it, including Geschwind at this point. I'm looking at your way.
I mean, like, I was checking this body, I was making sure it's all right, and then you guys had it handled, so no.
What do you guys do?
So can Oswald like make any gains on like trying to decipher what it says? Because I have a lot of languages in one, and I also have that book that I was using. Does it like do some of the ramblings match some of the lettering? Like, can I? Because I'm looking for like what is our next step? We didn't know, right? Like we've heard bits and pieces, but we don't know it ourselves. So some sort of like interactive skill to try and maybe research.
So you move around it and take a good look. Is that kind of what I'm getting? You sort of
like he's like trying to figure out the puzzle here.
Would this have something to do with the seal the woman mentioned?
Yeah, like maybe you guys are filling him in on what she actually said and like what's going on as we get like fully up the hill and looking at this thing. Does it have any runes or anything? Or
so you move around the back, and as he's investigating, what are the rest of you guys doing? Just kind of looking around, making sure it's all good. Like how are you?
Keeping an eye out for more of those monsters.
So your adrenaline's still spiking, and Oswald, you're still bleeding. You're still in pain. You're probably going to be okay, but you need to heal. You could feel that raw, awful kind of aching pain. You round the back of the obelisk, sort of here, and it becomes very clear. There is a bit of a hatch. It's as if the back part of this has slid down.
So Oswald kind of cranes his head from the side and says, "We must ascend. It's below us."
I ask, are you going to be able to descend? Is it a ladder? goes down?
It's he describes it. It's a hatch, and you hear the craning of it open as he bends down to pick
No,
it up.
it is open. No, it is just open.
Yeah, he just says walk around. You'll see.
It's more like
Yeah.
it was left in from before, like whatever came before.
So is a hatch with like a ramp or a stairway down, or is it?
It is a shaft. I love that Shadowcast says nope. It's an obelisk, right? So think of the narrowing, and then
it's
sort
just
of
a shaft.
So it's just
God.
straight shaft down.
Yes.
So, while they're inspecting the obelisk, Bartleby's going to take a look at this corpse that he stepped over during the fight.
Nice. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Nope. So just looking for anything useful.
So
it looks like it might have a shield.
It does. Oh, well, it's lying on its own shield. And the first thing you notice when you turn it over, although still serviceable as a shield, you can use it as shield armor. It took a hideous blow, and it's literally just kind of concave where it shouldn't be, right? But it will work. It did its job that time, and it'll do it again. It's just not going to win you any pageantry awards. This individual also had a broadsword, a dagger at his side, which was not drawn. The broadsword is kind of lying spilled out as he took a blow to the back of the head, which left most of his head no longer there. You're thinking to yourself, Bartleby, and right then you hear the clunk, 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 clunk of the bell. There's no weapon that these things had that would have done this to this dead body. What do you do? What do you do?
I'm not sure if Bartleby is like, he's not CSI docs, right? It's so he's probably not going to pay too much attention to that. He's mostly just going to look for the things that he can salvage. And he'll take the broadsword, and he'll take the shield and strap the shield onto his arm.
Yeah.
Is there anything from the woman with the stumps back in the last scene to this? Are they dressed similarly, or do they look like they may be from the same party, or is this guy been dead for longer?
It does. Well, I mean, no, definitely not. It does appear as if they were potentially together. And the other thing that you notice as you're looking around, Bartleby, now that you asked that question, they kind of look around at these corpses, because there are a couple. They're all fleeing the site, and they were cut down in their retreat. That much is definitely the case. You can even see, not being CSI, but the brain matter's hard to miss.
So Bartleby will relay this to everyone and say, look, they died running away from here.
He's pointing at little bits of cauliflower too. He's like, look. So good.
Are we sure that this is where we must go?
Would you fancy to walk back?
I just comment while looking over, and I'm like, well, we can go down there, I guess. And I kind of pick up some, a rock or stone or whatever, and drop it down the hole. Try to listen to how long it takes for it to hit the ground.
We got rope and the lanterns from the wagon.
Yeah.
Ooh, good call.
Part of you, Geshwin, thinks this is why we don't let children make decisions. But no, you pick up a stone and you drop it in. You're going to take 1 corruption point, Mr. Geshwin, as you're here, and you drop the stone. It not too far, you think. But then there's this very low rumble of a enunciation from a big throat. It's distant.
It's from the shaft, though.
Oh yeah, it's literally you're looking into a hole about this big, right? So you've got all the audio, and nobody else really kind of hears it. It's very, very vague for them.
I kind of look up there, almost pale as a ghost face, and just, well, there's something down there. Who's first?